bullshit. Bullshit. Yeah, talk about that bullshit. How you doing, Falcons fans? Talking about that bullshit. Talking about that bullshit. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing, Falcons fans? What's going on, Falcon fans, Atlanta Falcons fans, all over the nation? Give you guys a few seconds to come in here, man. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Tell your friend to come chat Falcons football, NFL football. Hey, if you got some questions about the NBA and the Ant-Man, yeah, the Ant-Man got the absolute NBA on notice, on fire. It's a lot of talk surrounding him and whether or not he's the new Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan kind of say, yeah, we got some similarities, and people took that and ran to the house and say, yeah, Ant-Man is the new Michael Jordan. All right, so it's a lot of stuff that's going on. Maurice Martin, how you doing, sir? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, we got quite a few things going on today. Sirs and Sirzettes. Sirettes. Is that a word? I don't think so. Yeah. But yeah, y'all get it. Sirs and ma'ams and sirs. I was gonna say what I was gonna say, but I'm gonna leave that alone. Hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that share button. Tell your friends, tell your friends, tell your friends, tell your friends, tell your friends about AFN Mad Mike Sports, man. Subscribe for more updates, man, because I try my best to put out every major news update, not only surrounding the Atlanta Falcons, but the NFL. Hot topics. OG Sam got something going on real soon. He's going to speak on that. But like I said before, man, what is this conversation about? What is this conversation about? Quite a few people have, first of all, I'll say this. Let me say this first. Well, you have the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know why this is always the case, but it baffles me to see the media. It doesn't matter if we do something well, we do something good. It don't matter. We went out. How you doing, Sonya? How you doing? Mucho, Maurice, Anthony. Everybody hit that like button. The Falcons do exactly what they asked us to do. They asked the Falcons to improve the quarterback position when Matt Ryan was gone. It's like, man, you don't want to win, Falcons. Y'all don't want to win. You need to have a quality quarterback with all those guys. Well, now you got a quality quarterback. Well, you got two quote-unquote quality quarterbacks in Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix, okay, a.k.a. Junebug. So a lot of people, especially the media, like I said, it's cool to see how you're doing, sir. The media just fucking, the media is freaking hilarious, man. I like it's comical at this point where to see the media. The media is just hilarious. Like they're never when you think that the media has gotten to a point where the Falcons, they feel like the Falcons are listening to them, they find a way to make a negative story out of it. So the question I have for you guys in the chat is it the fact that Night Whisper, how you doing, sir? Is it the fact that the media is really trying to critique the Atlanta Falcons, or there's a greater issue at hand? Is that they know that the fans surrounding the Atlanta Falcons, they are so emotional that they just know if they come up with a negative headline, Atlanta Falcons fans is going to give them exactly what they're searching for, which is a bunch of engagement. They know Falcons fans are going to get emotional. They know they're going to have their takes on things, and they're going to get millions. They're going to make a lot of money. They're going to get millions of views off the Atlanta Falcons. They know for a fact if they say anything negative in any light with the Atlanta Falcons fan base, they know the Atlanta Falcons fans are going to. So do you guys think the media knows exactly what they're doing as far as attacking the fan base or baiting the fan base? Or do you truly believe that the media is looking out for the best? They're really critiquing or they're analyzing the Falcons fairly? Because I say me, as far as I think this is more so baiting the fans. I don't think I don't think media cares about Falcons fans. I don't think they care about the Atlanta Falcons. I don't think these guys are even looking out for the best interests of the Atlanta Falcons or critiquing them fairly. The reason why I say this is because, well, if you guys have not heard, now the issue, like, I don't know why this didn't come out in the beginning. It's just hilarious to me to see how this has not come out. Like, all of a sudden, we're just now hearing about Kirk Cousins and the real reason why he left the Minnesota Vikings. Like, it's been, what, 3 months? 3 months. Close to 3 months of conversation about Kirk Cousins possibly coming in on the Falcons. 2. If that's not correct. No, it's been close to 2 months. So why didn't all of this come out then? Why is it that Kirk Cousins all of a sudden, Yosky, hey, how you doing? Corey Gear, what's going on? Corey Gear 5, how you doing, sir? But all of a sudden, the media come out with this story. They could have easily said this before the draft, all of that. That the real Kirk Cousins left Minnesota wasn't because he wanted to, quote unquote, go home or he wanted to be closer to home. His wife, family being from the Alpharetta area, so it's like he wanted to be closer to home. They didn't say that, but now the story goes that Kirk Cousins is, again, the reason why he left Minnesota is because Minnesota told him that they were going to draft a young quarterback in that position. Well, I did a reaction video, and it's going to debut after this particular show, where Cam Newton stated that the Atlanta Falcons owe Kirk Cousins an apology, and I'm gonna get into that. But let me see you guys' comments in here. You can't please everyone, says Knight. There is a hate for the Falcons. For the Falcons is unreal. The media doesn't know what they want. And yeah, the media stirring the pot of nonsense. So in that video, Cam Newton went on to state that the Atlanta Falcons owe Kirk Cousins an apology. And like I said, that reaction to that particular video will be out soon, so you guys check that out. But I think it's hilarious. I think it's bull crap, to be honest. For one, I said this time and time again. The reason why Matt Ryan was traded wasn't because they allegedly pursued Deshaun Watson. Okay? There's no proof to say that they pursued him. They had a meeting with him. That's pursuing him and having a meeting with a guy and talking to a guy. Every team talks to every guy. We don't say, oh, the Falcons didn't. They met with this guy in the NBA, but the NFL Combine. Teams meet with all the best players. That doesn't mean that particular team is going after him, pursuing him. When you pursue somebody, you do not hesitate to say, all right, we're going to upgrade this position. The Falcons said when they hired Raheem Morris even before that they were going to upgrade the quarterback position. All right, that they wanted to play better at that position. When they hired Raheem Morris, that became the center of attention. So it was nobody was taken off guard when it comes down to Atlanta Falcons and their pursuit of a quarterback. They were going to get the best guy, whether it's in the draft and it's the offseason. And every franchise is like that. Every franchise is going to tell you, for the most part, where they want to improve. And in that season, let's keep it real. Matt Ryan was not the same quarterback. You start to see his play decline. Physically, he wasn't the same guy. Mentally, you can start seeing things wear on him. He went to Indianapolis, and it just got worse for a multitude of reasons, mainly because that offensive line, that offensive coach, who ironically became the the coach for the Carolina Panthers, ended up getting fired. But that coach ended up getting the job, and he had the job with the Colts, and Matt Ryan just had one of the worst years of his career, and he ultimately retired because of that. So I'm saying all that to say this. Matt Ryan wasn't the same. And the reason why I'm connecting these two dots is because Cam Newton says the Atlanta Falcons owe Matt Ryan an apology. I say it time and time again. It's a business. This is a business. Professional sports is a business first. Okay? Professional football, professional sports is a business first. And at the end of the day, as much as you guys may think that the Atlanta Falcons owe Matt Ryan a certain amount of respect, they do, but at the same time, Matt Ryan has to be real with himself that he isn't the same quarterback. And a lot of quarterbacks, including Cam Newton, he still doesn't realize that he was not a great quarterback. Cam Newton got no business being even brought up in the same breath as Hall of Fame. The dude can't even answer a simple question, are you a Hall of Famer? Without saying, well, I'll say this, I had an impact on it. Of course you had an impact on it. Are you a Hall of Famer? He doesn't want to be real with himself. So a lot of times players, and even a lot of players, I'm talking about some of the greatest stars, the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady's, like, they don't want to call it quits because they don't want to be real with themselves. Matt Ryan wasn't real with himself when it came down to him and where he was in his development. So Matt Ryan got in his feelings just like Aaron Rodgers did, Tom Brady did when he left the Patriots. He got in his feelings and he tried to hold the Bucks hostage, but at some point they couldn't keep the same team and they couldn't add anything. So Tom Brady did the best thing that he would do. He retired. We seen it with Drew Brees. The same thing with Drew Brees. Drew Brees held on two seasons too long. He had no business being the guy. Why? Because physically he was just not the same player. So we see this all the time where quarterbacks aren't real with themselves as far as where they are in their career. You're no longer the Matt Ryan that we saw get to a Super Bowl and win an MVP. He's no longer that type of guy. So the Falcons as an organization have to be real with themselves and saying, is this Matt Ryan? Is this Julio Jones? Is this Roddy White? Roddy White wasn't the same wide receiver when we released him. So the Falcons had to do the best thing as far as business is concerned in cutting Roddy White because he wasn't the same player. And as fans, we have to understand that it's business. You're not the same player. So the Minnesota Vikings, on one hand, they knew he was 35. They knew he was going to turn 36 here. At some point, you have to start looking to the future because let's say he doesn't perform well next year. Kirk Cousins was, before the injury, he was having a historic year for himself. The dude was playing well, but there was a chance that the following year that Kirk Cousins would not be the same. So they decided, all right, you're 35. Let's start looking to the future and see if we can develop a quarterback. Well, as the story goes, as the legend goes, as the story goes right now in the NFL, well, that's the reason why Kirk Cousins is in Atlanta. Okay, it's because he did not want to help develop the quarterback. So I'm saying all this to say this: I don't have a problem with Kirk Cousins not. Um, I don't have a problem with Kirk Cousins not developing because I don't think it's the the quarterback who he has a job himself. That's why you have coaches. That's why you have assistant coaches, quarterback coaches, position coaches. Like that's why you have the position coaches to help develop. But you can learn a lot by watching, said guy, or you can ask Kirk Cousins or Matt Ryan certain questions. What do you do in this situation? How do you do this? How do you take care of your body? The things that matter off the field, like how you keep your family intact when you constantly on the road or whatnot. You can ask these type of things. So his it's not his duty as a quarterback to help develop a young quarterback. So I don't have a problem with that. However, I don't have a problem with Kurt saying or he having a problem with it, but I do have I have a problem with the perceived idea that Kirk Cousins only left because of that. I don't believe that that's why Kirk Cousins left Minnesota is because of that. I think he left because he wanted to be closer to home in his final years as a football player. We see it all the time. And I think the Falcons were one of those teams, if you just look at what they have on paper offensively, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. Now they have a guy like Mooney who, in my opinion, I think if the rumors are true as far as that's concerned, he helped recruit a guy like Mooney. So there's many reasons why he came to Atlanta. He wants to have a legitimate shot to make an impact with a team that could quite possibly get them to the playoffs and even deeper to the playoffs as far as Super Bowl is concerned. So that's the real reason why I think. But there's a but in this, y'all. There's a big but in this. Pat Norris, Michael W, Beasley, how you doing? But there's a bigger issue. There's a huge but in this situation. And the but is, yes, I believe all players, especially quarterbacks, these guys are incredibly sensitive. I do think quarterbacks, all of them, from the Peyton Mannings to the Matt Ryans to the Deshaun Watson, the Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, these guys are so damn sensitive. If you just put any competition near them, they're gonna have an issue. That's something that happened to Tom Brady. Tom Brady did everything possible to make sure that they got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. Like a lot of people don't know. It's like the main reason why. That was the main reason why the Patriots never had a development plan. You think that Bill Belichick is not smart enough to have a development plan for Tom Brady, who's turning 33, 35, dang near 40 when he retired? You didn't think that Bill Belichick was smart enough to have? No. That wasn't an issue. The issue is he tried to do everything to make Tom Brady happy. And that's why a lot of teams aren't prepared for what goes on. It's because, well, they don't have a plan for it, or they're hoping that maybe the third or fourth round quarterback that you bring in, he's going to develop into something great. It's because they're trying to keep that superstar or said superstar quarterback happy. So this is what happened with the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan got in his and he went to a worse situation, just like Julio Jones did. It happened to all the greats. This ain't the first time this has happened to a guy like that. Matt Ryan got in his feelings. He believed that the Falcons disrespected him. He believed Julio Jones felt like his career was not defined by Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan ain't the reason why he great. So he went to another situation. And Tennessee thought he was going to have an opportunity to win a championship. That failed miserably. And then he went to the Bucs thinking he was going to ride Tom Brady ding-a-ling. And guess what happened? That failed too. and now he went to the Eagles. That fell through. So a lot of times we see these great players, and then we assume because they're great that they deserve to be quote unquote respected. No, I believe there is a certain amount of respect when it comes down to the game, but at the end of the day, if you as a player, if you as a player don't understand that there's a business, and at some point you're going to have to understand that you're going to be forced to retire. You're going to be forced to retire at some point. All right, you're going to be forced to retire at some point. And instead of getting in your feelings and saying, all right, y'all disrespected me, you know, I done this for 15 years, but at the same time, bro, like, you know, like at the end of the day, man, you just got to be real with yourself. You're not the same player. You're getting older. They're going out to force a plan because Matt Ryan retired today. Guess what? They need another quarterback. If you decide to retire today, Matt Ryan decided to retire in 22, the Falcons are going to need a quarterback. So they have to do whatever it takes to make sure that that organization prevails even after you. So you got to be real with yourself as a quarterback. And sometimes it comes down to humbling yourself, passing on the knowledge to the next quarterback or the next player or the teammate. Take less money in order to stay to help groom another quarterback. That's the right thing to do. Not always focusing on yourself. So again, guy like Kirk Cousins, he's been forced into a situation with the Atlanta Falcons, and a lot of teams are going to follow suit with the Atlanta Falcons. Watch what I tell you. A lot of teams are going to follow suit with the Atlanta Falcons, and here you go, Maggie. Ain't nobody here to see you, Otis. All right, whatever, woman. All right. You here to check out old Mad Mike. You know you here to check Mad Mike out, woman. But a lot of people, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, the organization has to do what's best for themselves. And what's best for them is to have a contingency plan. And that's why Kirk Cousins is in this situation to where he has to conform to the team. And hit that like button. We got 6 likes in here. Come on, y'all. 42 people. Hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. But a lot of people, the Kirk Cousins is in a situation where he has to conform. The organization doesn't owe you anything when it comes down to drafting or signing guys. If you sign a contract and you're not a general manager, or you don't have it in your contract as to where you have to be consulted on certain things, it's like you just gonna have to deal with it. Play your position, do your part, and move on. But the organization has to do what it has to do in order to be successful. So the Falcons did a good job of not only securing the present with Kirk Cousins, but they secured the present with Michael Penix as well. What I mean by that? Well, you got a quarterback that has done it. And if he continues to do what he's always done, and that's being consistent as a quarterback, the Falcons are good. He stays healthy. The Falcons are good. They get a quarterback in Kirk Cousins that, you know, he can put up his numbers and they can do what he does. Falcons are good. And then in the present also, if something happens to a Kirk Cousins, you're no longer stuck with no disrespect to Taylor Heinicke, but Taylor Heinicke is not he's reached his ceiling. So now you have a young quarterback in Junebug, aka Mr. Michael Penix Jr., that you can plug in, who has the talent. You can groom him to be a pretty good quarterback and to, at some point in time, take over at the helm. So you're secured not only the present with Kirk Cousins, but you're secured the present with a Michael Penix. And then you look at, 2-3 years from now, you secured the future with Michael Penix also, and he can continue to get better as far as his position and his growth is concerned. So the Falcons, I have no problem with what the Falcons have done in regards to that. So get a few comments in here. Media tries anything and everything to keep us down at the bottom. They don't want to see us win anything. Look at the Braves. They won and they deflated a great win because of Atlanta. Yeah, they did the same thing to the Bulldogs also. For whatever reason, they just got it out for the state of Georgia. Every team move on from their long-term quarterbacks, just the way it goes. Dan Marino and John Elway, the only quarterbacks I can recall who stayed their entire career with the team. I've been saying this for a few years now. Meeting with Washington does not mean we pursued him. Call due diligence. And like I said, Mike, that's the thing. You have to do your due diligence. You have to cross every T and dot every I. You have to. In order to be great and to be successful, you gotta look at every aspect of what could and could not. What if this happened? What if that happened? You got to have all that in place. So they did exactly that. Barry Sanders had one of the shortest career while leaving out on top of his career as a running back and still became a Hall of Famer. Julio Jones will be signed to the Chiefs sometime this year. Drafting a backup quarterback at 8 overall after signing a quarterback to 4 years is brutal, absolutely brutal, terrible draft pick. And like I said, I get it, but I get everybody's frustration with that. And that's what I go. That's why I said what the Atlanta Falcons did. Essentially, is they not only secured the present with 2 quarterbacks and Michael Penix. Let's just say he is the real deal. I know a lot of people always like to focus on the negative, but let's say he is the real deal. Something happened to Kirk Cousins. We got a quarterback that is thrown and has a reputation in the game of college football that he is an elite processor. He can throw, he can make all the throws, and he's done that. Michael Penix can make all those throws. He's been able to make those throws in college. Will it translate? We'll see. But you have a quarterback that has the ability in Michael Penix, and then you have a veteran quarterback in Kirk Cousins, and something happened to him. You got 2 quarterbacks. There won't be a huge drop off, in my opinion. Too much. I won't say huge, but it'll be a drop off as far as that's concerned. But even if it isn't, I just say if it is, you still got a quarterback and you have a plan for said quarterback. So the Falcons are good. So I don't think the pick in itself. My frustration has always been about the salary cap. All right, and the salary cap for this particular. I thought the Falcons should have went out and, I wouldn't have put so much money into Kirk Cousins, but at the end of the day, that's the market. Like I said, I wouldn't have done it, but at the end of the day, that's the market. The Falcons felt like they wanted to win and they want to secure the future. They don't want to lose. The Falcons they're not focused on losing, so they're going to do everything in every aspect to try to win. So that's why they brought in Kirk Cousins. So I'm cool with it. Okay, I'm cool with it. I wouldn't have paid $90 million for it, but at the end of the day, I'm cool. I understand. I would have given him a 1-year deal for $40 to $50 million if it was me. I wouldn't have signed a 4-year deal. If that was the case, that's exactly what I would have done. I wouldn't have given him a 4-year deal, essentially a 2-year deal, if I were going to draft Michael Penix at the end of the day. Me personally, give him 1 year, $50 million, and say, all right, this is what we want you to do. We want you as the quarterback for 1 year, and based on how that goes, we'll sit back at the table and see if we can come up with another deal. But at the same time, we'll draft a Michael Penix or whoever the quarterback may be. I would have done it that way. But like I said, at the end of the day, the Falcons did what they did. I don't think it's a big issue. Like I said, you got guys at the quarterback position. You got guys at the cornerback. I think the Falcons did a pretty good job of adding more depth on the defensive line. I would have brought in a veteran guy, Daniil Hunter or somebody like that. I would have paid him. But like I said, end of the day, they didn't do it. But to say it was a terrible draft pick, I don't think it's a terrible draft pick. It's just something that I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have given him a 4-year deal and essentially $100 million. I wouldn't have done it. I would have given him $50 million 1 year, and then I would draft my quarterback. That's it. I wouldn't have focused. Like, end of the day, that's what it is. But it's done, and the Falcons have 2 quarterbacks that they can count on. Like, I wish they would have given D-Red a chance because we got a quarterback coach. And yeah, I think that was more so he wanted to kind of give art. I said this time and time again. The reason why Desmond Ridder, in my humble opinion, is because of the fans. The fans just gave that man hell. The Falcons fans, a lot of Falcons fans, not all of them, but most Falcons fans can't get over the fact that Matt Ryan and Mike Vick are just, they are the epitome of what the Atlanta Falcons, they exemplify everything that Atlanta Falcons fans, want and have needed. So, like at the end of the day, man, Desmond Ridder he was a sacrificial lamb. I just hate to say that. He's a guy that was going to come in and he was going to get slaughtered. There was no way he was going to survive this. I said this in the beginning. K-Styles, we said this in the beginning. When Matt Ryan left, we said the next quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, he's going to get slaughtered because fans are not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. They're not going to wait for him to develop. Look, it was just going to be that. So I don't think it was a good idea to bring back Ridder. I think the best thing for him was just move on, go to a team in Arizona, and those guys got a very good system. They had a damn good draft. They had one of the best drafts in the league. So, like I said, I like what I saw with them, and he got a better chance. They got a lot of weapons. They got good coaches out there, so they know what they're doing. It's been 7 years without making the playoffs. I can't get mad at them for doing what they're trying to make a succession plan. Exactly. Like I said, man, end of the day, you got to have a plan. You can't go in there and just say, it's like, I don't want, or the quarterback position is an important aspect. So you always want to have the best players and the best weapons around that guy. Like I said, at the end of the day, man, you got to have a plan, and they got a plan for the quarterback position. They are so much better off than a lot of teams. A lot of teams are still searching for that one quarterback that they can build around. The Falcons have 2 guys that they can count on. So the Falcons are good. At the end of the day, I just want to see them develop a defensive line. If they develop a defensive line, they get one of these guys in this draft that can get close to at least 6 to 8 sacks again. It's a win-win for these Falcons. It's a win-win. So development of these defensive line are good. Could have waited for Carson Beck. Carson gonna be a number 1 and number 2 pick. I think he's gonna be a top 5. I love what I see from Carson Beck, and I'll do a video on him shortly, breaking down his negatives and positives. I love what I'm seeing for him, but so far so good. It's gonna be he and Shadua and their top 3 quarterbacks. It's like driving a car with no insurance. You can drive like Richard Petty, but your wheels fall off, and you rear end the car. They don't care how many NASCAR titles you won. You're gonna be in trouble. Look, again, bro, you can sit up here and say all of this, but at the end of the day, it's all about what you and how much you can bring to these organizations. You got to have a plan. You can't keep wreaking havoc and thinking things are not going. Um, the team just gonna be okay. End of the day, you gotta perform. You have to perform. If Kirk Cousins will fall off in the middle of the season, who we rely on behind the key? No, man. Again, this is all about a young guy. He's in a good situation where he's learning from a veteran. He's learning from a lot of coaches that have been there. And like I said, Raheem Morris is a guy that we don't know. He helped put that game plan together for the Atlanta Falcons. He helped put that game together for the Atlanta Falcons. So it's like, end of the day, man, it's like, he's a good coach. He understands both sides of the ball. And the Atlanta Falcons they're in good hands with Raheem on both sides. So I don't have any reservations about him. Yeah, Archangel, they doubling down that they don't want to suck at quarterback position this year. And like I said, that's really it. If you're used to success and you used to having the best, you had a guy that was super athletic and just super gifted, and Mike Vick, and then you go to a Hall of Famer and Matt Ryan, bro. You're not trying to look at another Desmond Ridder or Justin Fields. You're not trying to look at another poor quarterback player anymore. You're trying to get the best, and that's what the Falcons had. You had a taste of that good. You're not trying to have no whack stuff, and that's what the Falcons had. So, like I said, again, I wouldn't have done it that way, the way that they did it. But at the end of the day, they not trying to suck at quarterback position. They not trying to do that. You had greatness. You had a taste of greatness. You're trying to get back to the Super Bowl. That's what the Atlanta Falcons are trying to do. They're trying to get back to the Super Bowl. They had that taste of greatness, and that's where they're going. Do you think they have a top 5 defense this year and will get approved? Well, it depends on how the Falcons score. If the Falcons score in the red zone, the defense is going to improve, because the defense, they're going to be in position to get after the quarterback rather than stop the run consistently. Most of the teams that score a lot of points, their defenses are pretty ranked near the top, over top 15. If you see they score a lot of points. Most offenses, they score a lot of points, especially in the red zone. They have pretty good defense. So that the Falcons can score touchdowns rather than actually kicking field goals, the defense is going to be much better. That's why I'm on for us drafting Michael Penix. Rather have Blade and need it when you need. Yeah. Archangel, we were spoiled by Matt Ryan and Mike Vick. And like I said, I think that's the thing. The organization, they know that they had a taste of greatness with Mike Vick, Matt Ryan, and they're not selling for anything if you're not good or had a potential of greatness, Falcons are not selling for it. They getting rid of it. And like I said, as much as I was rooting for Desmond Ridder, he wasn't that. They wasn't trying to hear that. The same thing with Arthur Smith. Like, they wasn't trying to settle for 7-10, 7-10, 7-10 over and over and over again. I think eventually, if he would have, done the thing that we think he should have, they wasn't trying to hear that. So at the end of the day, I do not blame the Atlanta Falcons for being super aggressive, because sometimes that's what you need. You need to be super aggressive. So I like it, man. Does it seem like the Falcons got two almost exact copies of their best franchise? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They have not gotten over those guys. Been saying it forever. When you tasted greatness, again, Southside, you taste greatness, you're not trying to get anything outside of that. You're trying to revert that and recreate that success. The same thing with Aaron Rodgers. He's a carbon copy of Brett Favre. I tell people all the time, he's a carbon copy of Brett Favre. Look, they know exactly. They have a style of quarterback that they want in Green Bay. and they stick to that mode. It's nothing wrong with all right trying to recreate a Mike Vick or a Matt Ryan. The thing is you don't go overboard trying to recreate that. You're never going to like. I don't believe in spending $90 million for a guy with a lot of issues and the same draft and the same year draft a young quarterback. Like I said, in my opinion, that's overboard. But like I said, at the end of the day, they sticking to what they believe. They believe that you have to have a quarterback in order to have a lot of success and to bring in the fans, and the Falcons sticking to that. So they sticking to that. I ain't got no problem with it. My thing is just build a defense while you're doing that. Just build a defense while you're doing it. I think that's everybody's major concern. Look, do what you got to do offensively, but I need to see some improvement on that defensive side of the ball. So I think that's the thing. We got notoriety with Vic and accolades with Matt Ryan. I think they are so upset with the A pick because they don't want to see Atlanta back in the place of prominence. They see us building a dynasty and not a one-year wonder. I think that's another thing too. Most analysts and media and a lot of players, they're so used to the Atlanta Falcons doing things so backwards. They're not used to the Falcons actually having a plan. And I think that's the reason why they were so shocked that the Falcons took Michael Penix, because it was like, damn, y'all brought in two good quarterbacks, two good guys. Yeah, we're not used to that. So they're not used to the Atlanta Falcons actually having a plan and actually doing things good for a chance. So I think that's another thing too, man. Like I said, it's fine. But I know a lot of people are saying, Terry, he's going, he's taking a huge risk. I don't think he's taking a risk because I think Arthur Smith really believes in what he's doing. Unless this team go 1-17 or something like that, 1-16, 1-17, like, I think he'll be here. I think he's good. Falcons win, he good. But at the end of the day, I think they're good even if they have a bad season. I don't see Raheem or Terry going anywhere. I really don't. So I don't think Terry is in the hot seat at all. I think he's under pressure to win, but like I said, he'll be fine, man. I'm not concerned with that. Yeah, Sam is going to go on in about 15 minutes or so. So, like I said, man, this is so much deeper than what a lot of people perceive it to be. But one more thing as far as that is concerned, and I'm end it, is that a lot of people are under the they're under the impression that when we say that the Falcons are screwed, and I made several videos and shorts on this saying this, is the Atlanta Falcons. When I say that the Atlanta Falcons are screwed in this situation, what we mean by this is dead cap. So the Atlanta Falcons are in a position where if they succeed, they got to pay Kirk Cousins. If they lose, they got to pay Kirk Cousins. The only way that this comes out for the Atlanta Falcons, and this is 100% ironclad. The only way that this position, I think this is a lose-lose situation for the Atlanta Falcons. Okay? That's my opinion. I'm going to explain why. The Falcons are in a lose-lose situation when it comes down to this. They got to win a championship. For fans and the media to be okay with this move and drafting Penix and signing Kirk Cousins to a deal, they must win a Super Bowl. Anything outside of getting to a Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl is a failure. It's a lose-lose situation. Because if Kirk Cousins doesn't make it throughout the entire season and he doesn't have a season, fans are going to riot. It's a lose situation if Kirk bust. It's a lose situation if Kirk is a bust and Michael Penix come in and he plays well. But Mike, what do you mean it's a lose-lose situation? Well, because you just lost about nearly, if you decide to cut him, it's going to be close to, I think it's like 65 million. It's 90 something million this year, 65 million. I think it's like 40 to 50 million after that. So the Falcons are screwed if Kirk Cousins has a bad year. And hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. Falcons are screwed if he has a good year. And after this year, they're going to have to move on from him. Because let's just say the Falcons win a Super Bowl, you're still going to end up moving on from him. Because you're not going to keep a guy like Kirk Cousins if you win a Super Bowl. Falcons, no way in hell the Falcons keep Kirk Cousins if they win a Super Bowl. In my opinion, if he fails, the Falcons are moving on from Kirk Cousins. Let's say that Penix even end up having one game where Kirk Cousins misses a game and he has 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, rush for 50 yards. It's a lose-lose situation even with that. Why? Because you just paid $90 million for a guy that is probably not going to be with the team or he's going to be done. So guess what? That's dead money that you have that you can't use in guys like AJ Terrell, Richie Grant, like all these guys that's on 1-year deal, these guys going to walk. Possibly you could lose Grady Jarrett. You could possibly lose a Jake Matthews to a cut. So you're going to lose players any way it goes when you sign a quarterback to that much money. So again, this is one of the reasons why I just wasn't a fan of I wasn't a fan of bringing him in and drafting a quarterback. But the only way for this to be a success for the Atlanta Falcons, they have to win. They got to get to the Super Bowl. They got to win a Super Bowl. The risk would be high trading up the top 3. We didn't. I mean, it is what it is. A bad signing, and I think we need to move on from Terry. Nah, that's way overboard. Terry has done a wonderful job. He haven't even showed us what he can do when he has money. And we want to get rid of him before he has the opportunity to show what he can do with money. Yeah, that's a bit overboard. I'm sure Kirk isn't fully healed and he won't have the same zip on the ball because he won't be able to. No, he got the same Anthony Wilder. Like I said, I don't know if he's fully healthy. I don't know if he's fully healthy as far as that concern. And if you have one more question, y'all can throw that in there before I end it. But I don't know if he's healthy, but even if he's healthy, the Falcons are good. Even if he isn't healthy, the Falcons, this is why I say I don't have a problem with the draft pick. You know, like I said, at the moment, I thought we would focus on defense, but we focus on defense and the draft, so I'm good. You know, I'm past all the initial reaction. I'm past all that. Falcon did a good job of bringing in more defensive guys, so I'm good with that. But like I said, man, if he doesn't play well, the Falcons still have a young quarterback that they can bring in. He can put up, you know, he can come in, play alongside Drake, Kyle, Bijan, Tyler Algier, Mooney. He's good. So I'm good with those guys. Are we running to be running? Look, the running, from what I understand with Zach Harrison, he likes to use a lot of emotion in his offense, and he likes to create space with motion. And they believe in running the ball. So I have no reason to doubt that the Falcons are going to abandon the run game. It's going to be a lot more passing, but I don't see them abandoning the run game, because there's going to be games where we got to rely on the run game, and he's going to do that. And it's going to be games where we're going to throw the ball. So it just depends on the opponent. The Falcons have opportunity to adjust to every aspect of football. So yes, I think running game would be a factor. Can you speak on the news reports on Kirk, Minnesota, where they going to draft replacement? Hucklebuck, I said this earlier, but look, I mean, at the end of the day, every quarterback is sensitive. So do I believe it? That a quarterback, that Kirk did get in his feelings? Yes. Do I believe that's the reason why he left? No. I don't think that's the reason why he left. I think Kirk knew that Minnesota as an organization, they were on the decline. They knew the talks about Danielle Hunter being gone into free agency. He knew what was coming with Minnesota. So I don't think he left Minnesota because they were drafting the quarterback. No. Do I think a quarterback does get in his feelings? Of course he got in his feelings about having a guy behind him. So yeah, I don't. I don't believe he left Minnesota because of the quarterback. I thought he just left because Minnesota's on the down spiral. Like, yeah, they got good wide receivers and they got a few good players up there, but defensively, they're not the same. We saw it last year. They wasn't the same defensive team defensively, and even a Danielle Hunter like that, yeah, he know what time it was. So, at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong. I don't think Kirk Cousins got in his feelings because he didn't want to teach a quarterback. Quarterback shouldn't be forced to help develop young quarterbacks. They need to be focused on doing their job. So I don't think that was a factor. I think that's the media coming up with some bull crap just to try to get some headlines, because we know Atlanta Falcons fans, they gonna speak on everything Falcons, and they're gonna be up and down with their emotions. They're gonna disagree and agree with certain things, and the media just playing the Falcons fans to a T. So with that being said, head over to Mad Mike Network, OGN TV. Big Sam is about to go on real soon. He's gonna talk about Raheem Morris and the defense. And I believe something about Terrell Owens. Yeah, Terrell Owens is back in the news. I kind of have an idea why, but we'll see. But again, appreciate everybody for joining me. This has been your boy Mad Mike with another Atlanta Falcons live show. Peace.